The argument didn't start on a battlefield. It started in a classroom, quiet, fluorescent lit, when a student raised a hand and asked a simple question. Why does our book say this happened, but my grandfather says it didn't? That question has echoed around the world since the 1990s. As the Cold War faded and borders shifted, nations turned inward, reopening old chapters they thought were settled. History textbooks, once treated as neutral records, suddenly became contested ground. Pages were highlighted. Sentences were circled in red. Words like liberation, occupation, massacre, and incident were no longer just vocabulary. They were weapons. In Japan, scholars debated how wartime actions should be described. In the United States, classrooms wrestled with how to teach slavery, civil rights, and indigenous history. In Europe, post-Soviet states rewrote narratives of heroes and villains overnight. In China, Korea, India, the Middle East, each revision sparked protests, editorials, diplomatic tension. And inside every debate was the same quiet fear. If we change the story, do we change who we are? Textbook committees met behind closed doors. Government officials insisted on national pride. Educators argued for accuracy. Parents worried about guilt or shame being passed to their children. Students, often forgotten, sat between them, absorbing whichever version survived the vote. Sometimes a single word held everything hostage. Was it a war or a conflict, a riot or a rebellion, a mistake or a crime? Each choice shifted blame, each edit reshaped memory. Protests spilled into streets, books were banned then reinstated, new editions replaced old ones, only to be challenged again years later. History, it turned out, was not fixed. It breathed, argued, and fought back. The tension peaked not with shouting, but with silence. Teachers pausing before sensitive pages, students noticing what wasn't mentioned, entire generations growing up with gaps they couldn't name but could feel. And then, slowly, something changed. A new approach began to emerge. Not everywhere, not easily, but enough to matter. Some classrooms placed multiple accounts side by side. Some educators asked students to question sources instead of memorizing conclusions. The fight shifted from what must you believe to how do we know? Because history isn't just about the past, it's about responsibility. What we choose to teach tells future generations not only where they came from, but what they're allowed to question, confront, and improve. And maybe that student's question was the point all along. If this story made you think, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel grow and keeps these conversations alive.